Hello friends and fam, I am Hardcore Yogi. Let me just get slightly comfortable in the space, find the center point. I have two different filming apparatus, one is there, one is there. So we'll see which one I end up using depending on computer logistics. But I want to shoot this video about yogic mantras or Sanskrit mantras. These are a really awesome tool for physical, energetic, emotional, mental healing and development. They are like an exercise that help the body, the mind, and the awareness. It is a yogic practice after all. So anyway, let us look at Sanskrit mantras. In this video, I want to start by just sharing about 3 different principles of Sanskrit mantras that are useful to know as we commence. And then I wish to share with you 3 of my favorite Sanskrit mantras, and I will give you an example and then the translation. So let's crack into it. Let me just take a nice deep breath through all the chakras, okay? Okay, feeling good. I was slightly short on breath, but now I'm good. So anyway, starting with the principles of Sanskrit mantras. So I heard this one really interesting principle of them, which is Sanskrit mantras, or every word in Sanskrit is said to contain the vibration of the word it is describing. So for example, the word Shreem means abundance. And Shreem is said to contain the vibration of abundance. So when we say that word, we are sort of activating a manifestation power for that word within us. Now, whether or not this is empirically true, scientifically validated, I can't say that. It's simply what the literature says. It says that that it is a very accurate symbol of the vibration of the actual thing it describes. And apparently the Sanskrit language is unique in that way compared to other languages. That's the first principle of Sanskrit mantras. The second principle here is that Sanskrit mantras are said to create deep healing at the root of our body, our mind, our emotions, our spirit, or awareness. So yes, they are said to have healing effects and kind of health-enhancing effects. Now, I can certainly validate that when you chant a mantra and you get louder and louder and you kind of reflect on the meaning of that mantra to you, it does have a certain energetic quality. I do feel that it does enhance your energetic state, just similar to how yogic movements or yogic breathing exercise or even dance move, martial art move, these things have like an energetic quality and they activate an energetic state in our body. That can be said about physical movement, about breath, and the same is true for reciting mantras. Even if you recite it out loud or in your head, the mantra creates an energetic effect within your body, and this energetic effect is said to be in alignment with what the mantra means, especially when you reflect on what the mantra means to you each time you recite it. So that's the first 2 principles of Sanskrit mantras, that they resemble the vibration of what they are referring to. They have an energetic effect which is palpable. I can validate through my experience and practice. And third is they recommend to chant the mantra 108 times within your mantra meditation. 108 is said to be a number that symbolizes completeness. One reason for this is that the sun has a diameter 108 times the size of the earth. And furthermore, the earth is a distance from the sun 108 times the diameter of the sun. Now, can I validate this scientifically? I haven't looked into any scientific journals or papers regarding that number 108 and the distance of the sun and the earth. So I haven't validated it scientifically, and I really do strive toward left brain, right brain integration always, but I haven't looked into it yet, the number 108. But that is what some of the ancient yogic scripture says. And a lot of the ancient yogic scripture, they have a lot of very highly refined and complex and accurate mathematical theories about how things work, and they ended up being true. A lot of it has been validated by science. So the yogis, the ancient yogis, either A, they had some advanced scientific technology, like scientific methodology, or B, there were aliens involved. That's what one of my teachers in India told me anyway. That either they had some scientific instruments and methods, or there were aliens, or they were aliens. But anyway, so that's the 3 principles of the yogic mantras. They have the vibration of the word they represent. They have an energetic quality in your body and mind when repeated. And repeat 108 times, if you wish, both in the morning and at night. And do one mantra for 40 days in a row. Now I want to share with you 3 of my favorite mantras ever. And I don't even know that many yet. I'm gradually learning them, but I found these 3 that I love. So here are the 3 yogic Sanskrit mantras I recommend. They are quite short. In fact, 2 of them only have 2 and 3 words. The first one I'll share, a little longer. It has 6 words. And I will start by giving a demonstration of the mantra and chanting it. And then I will give a translation, and I might even give a word-by-word translation as well to help unpack the meaning of it more. So the first one, I'm going to repeat it twice. Or should I do it 3 times? I'll do it 3 times. I'll do it 3 times so we can get a good feel, okay? So, Om Gam Shreem Maha Lakschmeyei Namaha. Om Gam Shreem Maha Lakschmeyei Namaha. Om Gam Shreem Maha Lakschmeyei Namaha. That is it. So what it basically translates into in English is universal power. Remove all obstacles to create an abundant increase of energy so I may live my life purpose to completion and praise. Once more. Power of the universe. Remove all obstacles to create an abundant increase of energy so I may live my divine purpose or life purpose to completion and praise. You may notice about the Sanskrit language, the Sanskrit language is very good at describing certain spiritual and personal development principles in much more efficient ways than English. So for example, on many occasions there is one Sanskrit word which means a concept which would take more words in English to describe. And you may get a glimpse of this as I give the word-by-word translation for this mantra. So there are 6 words, 6. Looking at the first 4, so Om Shreem, Om Gam Shreem Maha. What does that mean? So Om refers to the universal power. It can also be referred to the infinite spirit, God, universe, the all that is, the infinite spirit, existence itself, but acknowledging that existence itself is a supremely powerful, intelligent being, and we can get into that at some point, but Om refers to that. The one, the infinite, the powerful, universal spirit, the universe. So it says universe. Gam, which refers to the removing of obstacles. Shreem, which refers to abundance or abundant. And Maha, which refers to an increase in energy. So when we put them together, Om Gam Shreem Maha, we get universal power, remove all obstacles to create an abundant increase of energy. Om Gam Shreem Maha. Then the last 2 words was Lakschmeyei Namaha, I might have to put the spelling elsewhere for this. So, Lakschmeyei refers to life purpose. And then Namaha refers to, Namaha refers to completion and praise. So, living my life purpose to completion and praise. Universal power, remove all obstacles. To create an abundant increase of energy, to live my life purpose to completion and praise. And yes, as you say this mantra, you can really focus on what that means to you. And I even like to sort of, as I do the mantra, I visualize it. I visualize the words and the sound vibrating in each chakra. So root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown. I envision, when I say that mantra, it's like remove all obstacles in the root chakra so I can live my purpose. Remove all obstacles in the sacral so I can live my purpose, and up and up. So yeah, that's the way to do that mantra meditation. So that's the first mantra I wanted to share with you. Om Gam Shreem Maha Lakschmeyei Namaha. The next two are shorter and simpler. Although there's a lot of meaning in them, but they are shorter. So, the second one I want to share with you is Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Or you can do it a bit quicker, like Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. And what this translates to is truth is my name. Truth is my name. So Sat means truth and Nam means name. So what this mantra means to me is that everywhere I go, wherever I look, whether in a conversation with the person, reading a book, any task I do, any environment I go to, anything I do, I see the truth. I can see the truth of things. No falsehoods or delusions are projected from within me. Everywhere I turn, I see pure truth. Truth is my name. Truth is my name. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. That's the second mantra I wanted to share with you. And I actually feel the energetic effect even describing the mantra and doing it. Then the third and final one I want to share with you today is the mantra Om Tat Sat. 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 This basically translates into the infinite spirit is the only truth. The infinite spirit is the only truth. So Om refers to the infinite spirit, and we will actually look into what that means a little bit here. So Om is the infinite spirit, Tat means all that is, and Sat means truth. So that translates into the infinite spirit is the only truth. So let us unpack briefly what this means. In case some of you are slightly unsure, some of you might instantly get it yes, the infinite spirit is the only truth. But let's just break it down a little bit. So I mainly just want to break down the infinite spirit. What is the infinite spirit? One moment, please. So to describe the infinite spirit, it is also the same as God, the universe, existence, creation, the infinite spirit. And the infinite spirit is what is occurring right now. It's this whole moment. Me and you, the energy of nature, this exact moment that we perceive. This is the infinite spirit. You know, the infinite spirit is much more than this, but this is one tiny part of the infinite spirit. So to describe the infinite spirit, to give a bit of a description, there's two main traits of the infinite spirit, or God, Brahman. I like the word God, capital G. There's two traits of it, two characteristics one could say. There's many characteristics, but let's look at two. So one is that God is nothingness, and two is that God is infinite. And they sound a bit counterintuitive or counterproductive, but they're not. So let's look at the first one, God is nothingness. What does this mean? What this means is that there is an actual nothingness. There is a literal, complete stillness and silence that is void of any qualities, but it actually exists. You can think of it like an empty container with literally no qualities, a void of no qualities, but it actually exists. And from this void, and within this void, is where all things occur. So the big thing about this void, the nothingness, is that it has no qualities. Because everything that we're used to experiencing has qualities, right? Big, small, red, green, soft, hard, good, bad, you know, everything has like a quality, like a phenomenal quality. But the thing is that there needs to be a nothingness with no qualities, which actually is like the container in which all the phenomena with qualities can arise in and dwell within. It is like the canvas. It is the canvas in which life exists. But the canvas cannot have any qualities, because then it could not be the things which don't have that quality. For example, say the nothingness or the canvas had the quality of red. It couldn't be red because then it can't be anything that is not red. The nothingness can't be big because then it can't be anything which is small. Okay? The nothingness can't be hard because then it couldn't be anything that is soft. So the key trait of the canvas is that it needs to have literally no qualities whatsoever so that it can facilitate the background of every quality. So that is the nothingness, the void, the emptiness, the fertile ground. So that's the first trait of God. God or universe, the supreme being, existence itself, God is nothingness. But then the other quality, which is the kind of polar quality, is that God is infinite. So what does infinite mean here? What this means is that God, or the nothingness, can bring into existence and then be any and every possible scenario that can exist. God, the nothingness, can be anything, and in fact, it is everything. So what I mean, like, it can be every possibility whatsoever, and it actually is living out every possibility whatsoever beyond what we see in this world. So the infinite is living out every single possible thing that can exist. And we, living this human lifetime, this human form, we are just one sliver of all the possibilities which can exist. So that is a bit of an idea of the infinite. And infinite can be understood and defined by having no limitations whatsoever. So what this means is that, it has no limitations whatsoever. So not even physical laws can limit the infinite or God, because physical laws are just they're one temporary experience and possibility within literally the infinite of all experiences and possibility which do exist. So, yes. And when we say the infinite spirit is the only truth, I want to mention another thing about this. It's that we might think that we have perceived and known different truths in our life. Like, I learned this lesson, that's a truth. I had this experience yesterday, that's a truth. I read this thing in a scientific book, a new scientific fact, that is truth. But those things, those experiences of truth, they're not actually an absolute truth, because they are just a temporary experience, which is a subjective experience, which comes and goes. So the fact that it was just like this ephemeral experience that comes and goes, we can't even know that it's true. It's almost like a painting. It's like a painting that blows in our face and goes. So it's not an absolute truth because it was an ephemeral experience that came and went. So nothing that we perceive, well, most things we perceive are not an absolute truth. They're more like a relative truth or just an experience. But what we mean by absolute truth, the infinite spirit is the only truth. That's what it means. It means that all these things are not an absolute truth, but the infinite spirit is the absolute truth. So there's all these relative truths which may or may not be true. You know, every idea we have when we think we see truth, it could be kind of a bit misinterpreted or skewed. It may be a false perception, or it may just be incomplete. It might not just be a complete model of reality. So nothing is a real truth, but the infinite spirit, existence itself, that is the absolute truth. It is the only absolute truth. So that's what we mean by the mantra Om Tat Sat. The infinite spirit is the only truth. Cool. I think that sums up what I wanted to say. So giving a quick recap, a quick dot point on what we covered. The 3 principles of Sanskrit mantras was, 1 was they contain the vibration, each word contains the vibration of the concept it describes. The second principle was the Sanskrit mantras have an energetic quality which adds health and vibrance and transformation and healing within the physical and mental, emotional body and spirit. And then third was to do it 108 times in the morning and in the night. And if you do that for 40 days, there will be transformations. So that's the 3 principles. And the 3 mantras I shared. The first one was Om Gam Shreem Maha Lakschmeyei Namaha, which was universal power. Remove all obstacles to create an abundant increase of energy so I may live my life purpose to completion and praise. The second one I share with you, and I might actually put these in the description just so you can like read it to remember it or take a note. The second one was Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Truth is my name. Truth is my name. Everywhere I look, I only see the truth. Truth is my name. So whenever you have a moment, think, what is the truth of this? If something triggers you, think, what is the truth of this? What is the truth of this? Maybe the truth is you were wrong and you got a lesson to learn and all will be well in a few minutes once the triggering is done. Then the third mantra was Om Tat Sat. The infinite spirit is the only truth. The infinite spirit is the only truth. So that sums it up. I do think the spiritual path is the only path really worth pursuing, in my opinion. Every other path is like, it kind of gives you temporary validation and excitement, then it's gone. But the spiritual path, to understand truth, the truth of existence, is something that you keep with you, and it goes beyond this lifetime. It is timeless to truly perceive and understand the universe and the truth of what the universe is and how it works. It's like the universe coming to know itself. But as much as the spiritual path and awakening is so important, I think we also need equally personal development. We need to develop skills within ourselves, technical skills and abilities and knowledge, technical skills, so that we can actualize the understanding of these truths. Because it's one thing to be awake to the truth of reality, to be enlightened to the absolute truths, but then where do we go from there? We also need to develop technical skills and knowledge. We need to develop personal development which can then help us spread enlightenment and awakening to everyone. Because to be enlightened is one thing, but then there's the question, how do we live together as a global community to be healthy and happy and functional and economically functional, politically functional, sociologically functional, and then how do we create health within every being in the ecosystem? These things require knowledge and skill, and that's where personal development comes in. But only helping humanity and not being awake, so believing illusion and falsehood, which is actually the regular state of consciousness. The regular states of consciousness are actually seeing only falsehood and illusion. But to see truth is so important to liberate ourselves, and we must marry awakening with personal development. Thank you for listening to this video. I am Hardcore Yogi. I make hip-hop music. I write some articles. I'm a yoga teacher in Townsville. If you ever want to, hang out, do some cool shit, hit me up. We can talk about anything. Wishing you much peace and love. Peace.